Hi, my beautiful souls. So, first off, I want to say I am not a healthcare professional. This is just from my experience and what I've gone through. Also, for a disclaimer, there are some mentions of self harm and all that. But today I want to talk about my bipolar disorder. And I do have notes in front of me, so if you see me reading, I'm sorry. But from what I got, bipolar disorder is a mental illness marked by extreme shift in mood. And I do. Mine go from 0 to 1,000 in 0.5 seconds. It is crazy, especially when I am in a mania episode, which is a super, super high, almost to the point where I think I can fly. And I'm very impulsive. Whenever I'm in a mania episode, I tend to spend a lot of money, not even thinking about it, not caring. It's mainly towards my kids, but still, spending a lot of money. I'm over the moon. I can't sleep. I don't want to sleep. I'm full of energy. All I want to do is go, 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 go. And I gotta remember sometimes to sit back and be like, I can't do that. And then whenever I am in a manic episode, which is depression, it's severe to where I want to self-harm. I'm hopeless. I don't want to be around anymore. I just feel like my kids are better off without their mom. And that is a line of thinking I keep trying to change, and it's slowly gotten better, but not completely. And I found out that 2.8% of US adults have been diagnosed, an average person with bipolar. It shows at the age of 25. For me, I got diagnosed at 14. And it was bad. I had blackouts, and I had the cops called on me because I would honestly hurt my mom in my blackouts because I didn't know what was going on. We didn't know at first it was the bipolar, because I remember showing signs at about 3 or 4 or in first, second grade. And when I became 14, we found out that I had PTSD, I had bipolar disorder, bipolar depression, I have severe anxiety. So the fact I'm doing this is a huge surprise even to me. And with depression on bipolar, a manic episode can last at least 2 weeks, but it can go months, even years. So there's no definite timeline. And there are different types of bipolar. There's bipolar 1, there's bipolar 2, and there was another one that I just cannot pronounce the name. But with bipolar 1 is one of the worst ones, which is what I have. And the manic episodes are the worst than with bipolar 2. And for me, with the coping, I have to try to set aside everything, even go to my room just for 5 minutes alone, sit in peace and quiet, no phone, no nothing, just sit there. And even if it's reading a little bit, just sitting and trying to calm my mind, relax a little bit, and be like, everything is going to be okay. This is just a phase, it's just an episode. This is not permanent. And with the mania, I go crazy. And in layman's terms, it's just severe happiness. Who would have thought that being happy could be bad? But it can. And when you have a severe, severe, severe case, you can be impulsive enough to jump off your roof thinking you can fly, from what I've been told by my doctors. I haven't gotten to that point yet, obviously. But it's hard to explain. This is why I put some notes down a little bit. But, with mania, you're just full of energy. You can go and go and go and go and go. With manic, all you want to do is sleep. You're hopeless. You have no thoughts of life. You want to just end everything. At least from my point of view. This is my perspective, and this is what I deal with. And just, it's hard to explain when it comes to it. Because I try, but there's no way of getting it on track to explain how my bipolar works for me. And it's hard. It's hard to diagnose in kids because, I mean, you could think it's ADD, you could think it's ADHD, you can think, oh, they're just teenagers, they're having mood swings. Luckily for me, we found out when I was 14, the psychiatrist listened to me. Didn't put me on the right medication, so now I have seizures because of it whenever my anxiety or my pain level gets too high. But they listened to me and was like, yeah, you have bipolar. This is why you're feeling the way you feel. This is why your depression is as bad as it is. And I mean, some people have depression that is so severe, but not bipolar. With me, I have a mixture of both, which is harder on me for me. And with the coping, it's hard to cope a lot of times. Sometimes I just need to go and give my children a big hug. Sometimes I just need to cry my eyes out. There's different kinds of coping mechanisms. And I never thought really about what I do to try to figure out how to calm myself down until now. And again, I know this video is also a jumbled mess just like the other one, but a little more organized. And with bipolar, it's definitely a difficult thing to handle. Because the fact, like I said in the last one, I had a full hysterectomy. So I have to be placed on hormones. So my body is still in shock from not having the natural hormones made anymore, but having man-made put in me. So that, along with my mood stabilizer for my bipolar, they're not connecting right. They're not working right. So my depression is one of the lowest it could be right now, to the point my medicine is locked up away from me. I cannot get into it unless I need to refill my medicine container. And I feel like that was my decision, and I feel like that was the best decision to make at this time, because I don't know how much further into the depression I'm going to go. And although bipolar disorder is rare, it can be misdiagnosed because of the various symptoms. Like I said, with the mania, it could be like ADD or ADHD, which I also have. And I have a website that I'm going to try to link in. It gives so much more info. It gives you the types. It gives you what it's like in men, what it's like in women, and also what to look for in children, which I suggest you read, because you may have a child that has bipolar. Read it and see, and then talk to the doctor about it. That is my main thing, is if you feel like you have bipolar, which is extreme mood swings, it could be very noticeable, it could be barely noticeable. Bipolar shows up different in different people. But talk to your doctor if you feel like you have bipolar. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about my depression and how I tend to cope better with it, and try to talk a little bit into my postpartum. But with this one, I wanted to focus on bipolar disorder because this is what we found out when I was 14. This is the first thing I was diagnosed with. And even with bipolar, I found out that I believe you can see things too. If it's auditory, they consider it schizophrenia, but if it's visual, it's part of the bipolar, which I never knew until I was about 18. So 4 years after getting diagnosed, I found out, no, that's part of your bipolar, is you're able to see things that aren't there. So if you have a child, or if you are experiencing anything that I mentioned, talk to your doctor. It does not hurt to get advice. There is nothing wrong with being bipolar. Nothing wrong at all, especially if you get on the right medications. And you don't have to take medications for the rest of your life. Some do, like me, some don't. For me, I have been on my medication for going on 3 years now because of my kids. I don't feel comfortable without being on medications with them, and that is my decision. But there are people that have bipolar disorder that don't need medication, but there are some that do, and it could be a lifetime, it could be a short amount of time. There's no telling, but talk to your doctor if you feel like you may have this. And like I said, it's hard to explain bipolar in a shell, because it's one of those, there's so many different symptoms There's so many different things that contribute to bipolar, but can contribute to something else. And it's just a whole bunch to explain. And for me, this is how I am. Right now, I am in a bipolar manic depression, and along with not having the right hormones. So, like I'd mentioned, I have my medicine locked away, especially anything I can OD on, self harm, I have locked away by my choice just to be safe for myself. And I don't want to leave my children without a mother. I don't want to leave my husband without a wife, or my mom without a daughter, or my brother without a sister. I don't want to do that to them. But in my state of mind, I don't care. But I'm trying to get to the point, I'm slowly getting to that point where I do care. That's why I locked my medicine up. And if it comes to being put in an institute again, then I would have to do that. But I'm not quite there yet. And do not ever be embarrassed if you're put in an institute. And if you're in a bad one, like, please say something about that, because there are some that are good, there are some that are bad. I've been lucky enough to be to the good ones. And I mean, their insurance does help with it. But institutes do help. They help with coping mechanisms. They help you understand what is going on in your head when you can't. Because for me, it's like a huge jumbled mess in there, like tornadoes and hurricanes going on at the same time, destroying everything. And while I'm trying to build everything up, it's coming right back through and destroying everything again. So it gets hard. It really, really does. It gets hard. So me doing these videos, I feel like if I help someone, then that makes me feel a little bit better. But it's mainly, not to sound harsh, but it's mainly for me to express how I am feeling, what is going on in my head, trying to make it clear, trying to make it understandable. And this is the only way I can think of doing it. And with the depression and with postpartum, I'm going to do some more research on those so I can put those in the description box below and figure out how to do this. I'm doing this off an iPhone, so it's not the best quality, and I'm going to do what I can to figure it all out. But if you've been with me this far, thank you so much, and I'm sorry it's a jumbled mess again. I'm trying to get better, I promise. Okay. Bye, my beautiful souls.